In this episode of the False Self podcast, I'm joined by Jane Onchiri. She is a successful Kenyan entrepreneur, a leader, and my auntie. She's going to share with us lots of wisdom on leadership, how her Kenyan upbringing has shaped her leadership style, her previous experience being a quote unquote terror leader, and all the ways in which she's grown as a leader, which has ultimately led to her thriving catering business. She also shares with us her experience of raising a child with autism and how that has informed her leadership strategy. Be sure to subscribe and share the podcast. It really does help to reach more people. The more you share your podcast, the more reach we have, the more guests we're able to bring on and have these thought-provoking conversations. With that being said, let's get into it. Hi, Auntie Jane.
Hi.
Not many people get to do podcasts with their auntie, and not many people have leaders in their family. But you've been a leader in the family, and I know you're going to have good insight for people. Do you know this about yourself? Do you know that people, speak about you as a leader and they talk about your courage?
Actually, when you asked me that you're going to bring me on this broadcast, I was asking myself, what do people talk about me? I asked a few who have mentored, and I actually asked one of my sons, I asked him, Timo, do you think I'm a leader? He said, of course you are. And if you want to know, ask so-and-so. You mentored that person, look where she is. Ask so-and-so, ask so-and-so. So when I asked them, they said, yes, you are a leader. Normally you don't get to know that you're a leader unless you are told. You just want to see people doing better or wanting to learn something that you've already learned or where you went wrong, you want to correct people around. So that's when I realized, I am a leader.
So let's actually just define leadership. And there's so much we're going to unpack there in everything that you've just said. So let's start by defining leadership. So why don't you define leadership for us formally?
According to me, I think leadership is where a person is leading a team. And this team, how you lead it, they must be looking forward to doing what they're supposed to do to achieve the vision of the organization or the vision that you had for that work that you have hired them to do. And while doing that, a good leader, you're supposed to know your people, know them emotionally, the emotional intelligence, how they are. As a leader, you must know what you're leading your people to do. Whatever you expect them to do, you must know how to do it yourself. Then you can be able to mentor them. Also, as a leader, you're not supposed to sit back and say, I'm a leader now, you're giving orders through the phone or from the office and, people fear you. No, you should create friendship with your people.
Yeah, some people feel that leadership, like when you're a leader, you have to have a level of like detachment from the people that you're leading. Like you have to be you're in a different category. And that's a mistake that a lot of leaders make. But you're saying that it's actually better to have a trust, friendship with the people that you're leading. And that's key.
That is key. Because if you don't trust me, how do you expect me to do a task for you? You must show me that you trust me and that you believe that I can do it. You believe in me. They feel, yes, I can do it. And that is growing the person. That's what I call mentorship. You've mentored that person until he believes I can do it. And even if you helped him to do it through, let him do it. Next time when you give him a task, or he comes to you, how do I do this? You tell him, what do you think we should do? Because you're not all knowing. You may find that your team, they have more ideas than you have. So that is one thing that has helped me. I ask them, you're bringing this to me. What do you think? What can we do about it? And through their ideas that they're giving you, they're also teaching you. And if you try those ideas, imagine they work. I could be blank because a leader doesn't know everything. I could be blank in whatever they're asking. And I say, let me see what they have an idea because they were thinking we should do it in a certain way. So you pick from one or two and you ask them, what do you think about this one's idea? They say, I think we should go with that one idea.
I think that's so important because sometimes leaders do think that they're supposed to have all the answers and they don't really think of themselves as collaborators. Like they think of themselves as like an authority who should have all the answers and should be directing everything. And that can limit the business. What makes a good leader is someone who's able to take in other ideas, collaborate, and then like mentor and facilitate and help to grow those ideas even more.
Exactly. And again, if you find those leaders who think they have everything, those are not good leaders. They suppress their team. And this, whatever the team feels that we can do this way to achieve this, they will not speak because he has shown them, I'm all knowing. So they take orders. Leaders are not supposed to give orders. They're supposed to give suggestions. And even if he gives an order, he doesn't give it as an order. He said, I think we could do this way, it can work. What do you people think? And the team will follow. It depends on how you talk to your team. And how you lead your team depends on how much you'll achieve. How much you respect your team will depend on how much you'll achieve. You can have one leader leading in a different way, and this one is leading the way I'm telling you. And look at their results. For example, you find a leader who, I'm in the hotel industry. I do catering. So you find a leader whose food is cooked separately. If it's for the boss, we have to fix something for her. I don't do that. I tell them what my clients eat is what I want to eat. And what my clients eat is what my staff eat. I don't cook for them separately. No. Because then they feel they are second class. Right. Yet they are my first class.
So you've talked a lot about your people in the business, and then you've also talked about your customers and how, investing in your people has impacted the growth of the business. So if you had to prioritize between your people, your customers, and profits, what is your order of priorities?
Okay, there's this saying that people say, the customer comes first. That's not my slogan. My people come first, then my customers, and profits. Reason being, if my people are not happy, my customer will not be happy. They'll produce something that my customer will not like. Then I will not have profits. So I start with my people, customer, and profits. And that has worked for me.
Did you find back when you were the terror leader, did you find that the priorities were different?
No.
Or
when I was a terror leader, my customers came first and my profits, and then my staff came last.
Okay.
And it didn't work well. Yes.
Customers came first.
I had minimal profits. Then I realized no.
Yeah. Because a lot of leaders think that the customers should come first, or that's their philosophy. A lot of businesses operate that way, where they're customer first and then people last and then profits second.
That could have been ages back, maybe, because I don't know where they got that philosophy from. Now we are being taught to put staff first because they are our first investment. When they are happy, everything will flow. The customer will be happy. The customer would want to come back. And the more he comes back, the more profits we make.
Yeah. And a lot of people who are going into entrepreneurship or business, they're thinking profits first because they're like, well, without profits, then what are we doing? So they go with that.
They start like that. That's how I started also. I don't blame them. But once they get people like you coaching them and telling them what leadership means, and you must tell business people what leadership is. That way it will change the narrative. Maybe I'm saying this could have been maybe those days, I don't know, days before my time. And I'm also actually very old. So if you are here and you are my niece, so you can imagine how old I am. So it might have worked then, but these days it can't work. Times have changed. People have gone through things. People have emotions, people have depressions, many things have happened because of change of time. We have to change the narrative now for you to get what you want.
You talked about the importance of emotional intelligence for a leader. So how did you develop your emotional intelligence as a leader? Do you think this is something that you were born with, or did you have to develop it throughout your life?
I had to develop it. I was a very bad leader. To be very honest, I was a rough one. I was tough. Until I realized, why are things not working? Then I said, let me look inside me. What is the problem? And then also I did a lot of coaching. Thank God for KCB. KCB is my financials. It's a bank. They take us through training, coaching by different leaders. And that changed my attitude. Till it could be noticed by my staff. They would say, what? That's Madam who is calling us for a meeting and she's talking like that? Wow. And from there, I started getting results. I started resting because I could not trust anybody. Once I gave them trust, I can go for a month and I will come back and they have done super well. With support, when they need this, if they are given by the manager, they are doing super. Now, that can be developed. There's nobody you can trash. If there would be anybody to be trashed, it would be me. Because I was very rough. Because I thought you have to be strong for things to work. No, you don't have to be rough for things to work. You can be very soft and things will work super. Yes.
They'll work even better.
Even better.
Yeah.
Much better, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also because you're leading human beings. Like, people don't want to be they don't want to be in an environment that's like abrasive, you know? Yeah. It's like, if you have a calm environment, it creates like a place for people to thrive better, you know, because they feel safer.
You've spoken something that is very important. They feel safer. Why do they feel safe? They know this is the environment that they can say anything. Their ideas can be received. They can speak. They can have free speech. When you come to the office, what do you tell your staff? Do they keep peeping as the boss entered? Is the boss in? They start tiptoeing? No. Walk around and say, hi. Maureen, how are you doing? How's your day? How's your weekend? Mine was great. Just a word and make them relax. Go to the next one, greet them and tell them, you're doing a good job. Let's start working. That you've relaxed everybody. Everybody gets into that spirit. But don't go, what is this? Even if they had messed up, don't start it in the morning, please.
So you switched from a more like abrasive, like iron fist type of leadership to a softer type of leadership, and that actually started to give you results. In terms, like, what kind of results were you getting, like, in terms of revenue, in terms of your business, like, in terms of how the business was operating?
In terms of revenue, in terms of feedback from the customer. Because what I give my staff is what they give the customer. When I give them a nice smile and talk to them nicely, that is the same thing they carry over because they're happy. When I scold them, they don't know how to get there and smile. So that developed our business in terms of finances, in terms of workflow. Instead of having so many people, they will tell you, no, so-and-so can go on off, we can manage these three of us. I realized, hey, I was having so many people for what? I reduced, or when I opened another section, I would transfer other people there. So it really developed our business.
Yeah, because it like transformed like the energy of the person. So that actually led to more like getting done. And then you were able to transfer more people and expand the business because people are just more dedicated. They're more devoted to their work. They're getting more done. One thing that I've realized in leadership, people who like aren't the best leaders, they prioritize the time and trying to get things and extract things out of their people, as opposed to investing in the energy of the people and investing in inspiring them. So instead, they're thinking like, time is the most important thing. Let's get out as much as we can out of them in this 8 hours that we have, as opposed to let's feed them, let's feed their energy. And then that actually translates into them bringing out a lot more and getting a lot more done in less time.
When you're looking at time that they're giving you, you're trying to milk them out of that time 8 to 5. They'll give you the time, they'll not give you the results. But imagine, show them that work is here, we must finish it. Whatever time, you finish at 2, you go home, whatever you do. And me, I don't ask, I just want to see work done. They will do that work and they will leave within 6 hours. Because they help one another. They work as a team. And they're not looking at time. No. Whatever time they finish, they clean the place, they're happy. No customer is complaining. Everything is done well. They go home. And you don't have to ask them, what time did you leave? Mine told me, instead of coming at 8, why don't we come at 5? So that we finish everything in a relaxed way. I said, fine. Me, so long as you feed my people. They come there, some of them come at 4. By 3, there's nobody at work. They've gone home. And what do I ask for? And they have made the work easier for me.
You give them agency to decide when they come in or when they go. And you're also very flexible. You kind of create an environment where they can decide how they want to work. They can decide how to help each other. It's not like there's rigid roles, rigid like time frames, rigidity. Like you remove that rigidity, which gives them more agency to be able to find what works for them as a team and what works for them as individuals. Did you used to be a more rigid leader?
Was. I'm telling you, I was a bad leader, to be honest. I evaluate myself and I know I was a bad leader. Like when they ask me, over the weekend, can we come 2 people or 3 people? I say, well, so long as I get my work done, arrange yourselves. And once in a while, I pop in on a weekend like today, I'll pop in. If the work is well done, I don't talk. I just say, hi. I was just passing by, anything for me to eat. They give me something I eat, I just go. But if something is wrong, then on Monday I call them for a meeting. I'll tell them, okay, this didn't work. What else can we do better? You realize you were 3 people and this place was lacking, And when I passed by, I saw it. What can we do? Says, oh, madam, we are very sorry. It's because we thought this one will come in, this one did not come in. That will not happen. Okay, continue.
So you're kind of there like on the edges, kind of just to make sure things are still going according to the vision without controlling every aspect too much or without being too rigid. You support and you make sure.
And that's what a leader is supposed to do, leading. When you're leading people, you make sure some don't trip on the way. You keep bringing them together. As they make mistakes, you keep showing them the way. But that does not make you to be managed by them. You must be very careful. You draw a line where they don't play around with you, because they can also try to manipulate you. There are things they know, this one cannot pass through. Just tell them, that one, no. And it's a no.
Yeah.
There are things you must be firm.
To be a good leader, you really need to understand people. And I feel like, especially like in my industry, I'm in software engineering, there's a huge focus on the technical training throughout the career, but then when they get to the leadership position, they're thrown into people management without being taught the people skills or, developing their empathy, emotional intelligence, communication, things like that. And for the engineers who are being led by such a leader, it's distracting. Like it creates an environment where it's hard to focus. It's hard to think, solve problems, come up with ideas. It's not safe. It doesn't feel like a safe environment. So then the business ends up suffering as well because people are not operating at their best.
Being a leader, when you realize things are not moving, you should ask yourself why. As a leader anyway, as a supervisor, as a what? When you see people are always not happy in your team, then you are a wrong leader, or you're a bad leader, or you are just an ignorant leader, not really bad, but you're ignorant because you don't know what they need and you don't want to know. Please step back and ask yourself why. Because how can you lead a team that is not willing to move with you? If you're in my team and I see you doing this, I'll be feeling very good because you have seen a gap in your engineering industry and you're saying, people should understand people. I would be very happy if you're in my team. I'll promote you.
Yeah.
I tell you now, please take care of these people for me. You get? That makes a leader happy. If you're not happy about your people, then you are not a leader. Some leaders don't know that it feels nice when you lead somebody and you see them doing something better than you. The lady I told you about, her name is Jackie. She bakes the best cake, especially banana bread. And I'm the one who taught her, but I would rather not eat mine. I eat hers. Whatever she does, I don't know. So leaders they should be feeling nice when they see somebody they have brought up and proud.
Yeah, another mistake that some leaders make, or leaders who haven't developed their leadership skills, is they take it to offense when their subordinate or their report is doing better than they are. Like, for instance, the example that you gave about your employee making better cakes, better banana bread than you even make. And that actually makes you proud. But there are some leaders who, when they see that their subordinate is doing better than them, they're like, that makes them feel insecure, or maybe they feel like, oh, this person is going to take my position, and then they like suppress that. And then it's ultimately bad for the business, because you're saying you would promote the person who's bringing new ideas, solutions, even if it's superseding what you're teaching.
If you know what you're doing and you have a job, why are you feeling threatened? For heaven's sake, unless you're doing something wrong, unless you know you have some cobwebs in the corner somewhere that might come out. If you're competent with what you're doing, why should you be scared? Good leaders are not supposed to be scared. They know themselves. They're supposed to be competent. And they're supposed to be content because they're in leadership. When you're put in leadership, it means the people who put you there knew that you can do it. Then why are you doubting yourself?
Yeah. How do you
bring other leaders? Teach them, mentor them, bring them up. Because you're not going to be there forever. Maybe when you bring them up into the service, you'll be taken to another level. And they will take your position, yes, but it doesn't mean that you'll be thrown out. Because you're the one who has brought them to the service. That is what people should know. And organizations know that if somebody develops others, they see him as a mentor. So they will not want to let him off. But what makes people feel, no, this person is going to take my job. There are people who are like that, by the way. There are people who are like that. But they also need mentors. They need to be taught that the more you develop others, the more you get developed.
Yeah. It's almost like they have the like limited mentality of like, oh, this is the top, and like there's no place for me to like expand even more, or like, go higher. That's one thing that I've seen in a lot of leaders, and I've seen in you, is leaders tend to have an abundance mentality, which keeps them from limiting others. This abundance mentality is also important for feeling confident and like not being a suppressive leader.
Lack of confidence makes you become a suppressive leader. Insecurity. Because you feel, after she comes to my level, where do I go? There are many places you can. By the way, you can start your own. If this organization you've reached the limit, open another section, go to another country and start off. There are many opportunities, but the good book says, we suffer for lack of knowledge. This person is suffering because he's limited to this. He doesn't know the world is large. You can expand, you can grow, you can have teams. You've got another team leader here who has come up. Make him a team leader, give him a team, let them go open somewhere else, or open for them, let him lead. No leader should be insecure. And also that also depends on how you're brought up. Because I've realized when you're brought up, and I'm sorry to say this, when you're brought up in poverty, you have a poverty mentality, which means that you are limited to this. You see that somebody is coming to get what you finally got. So where will I go? No, please. And getting those people out of that poverty mentality is so difficult. I've watched people who have come from nothing. Once you promote them a bit, they become now protecting the territory. I know those, and I tell them, now come. You used to be a cleaner? Now you're a cook. What stops you from being a supervisor? Teach others. Teach them. You were taught how to cook, now you can cook. Can you teach somebody else? And then I bring a new staff, I put them under him. I see how they teach, because now he has hope. If he does a good job, if this person comes to his level, he's going to be promoted. Before you assure them like that, they're not able to move. So if they don't have a bigger boss who understands them, that's where you must understand your staff. Find out where they come from. What kind of life they have as children. How are they brought up? That will help you understand them more. And tell them, open up. Even me, I was brought up like this and like this. But you're in a different world. Let's see where we can help. You'll find those I call them terrors, leaders who are terror. They're being brought up badly. Or things were not well. And he feels now, this is money. I can't let it go. Nobody's going to take it away from me. You have to change that belief. These ones who have been brought up in an average family, they know they can lack today, tomorrow they can get. They don't have that locked mentality. No. But we must work with everybody. We must work with those ones with problems. We must work with the ones without problems. We bring them all together as leaders.
Yeah, and it's like, as their leader, when you're leading somebody like that, you're taking the responsibility of opening up their mind and showing them that, like, hey, you can actually go into this other position, you can do this. You're like expanding their vision for them, which I think is really good. And also for me as a leadership coach, like, that's part of what I do for the leaders that I train. If I see that they have this mentality where it's, they have a limited mindset, or they don't have an abundance mentality, to show them the ways in which they can still continue to grow even if somebody takes their position, and that increases their confidence. As a leader, like, your job is not just to develop people technically, it's also to develop people personally, and like as people. You're helping them to, like,
personally,
it goes
emotionally,
professionally,
their ego, professionally they have been taught. That's why you hired them, because of their papers. But now there's a lot of work you must do as a person, for that person, individual person. Each one of them, even if it takes you 2 months to study each one of them, do it.
Yeah, you'll be surprised. In a lot of industries, that part of leadership, like, people just don't realize that, like, that's a part of your job as a leader. Because as a leader, you're supposed to coach, you're supposed to mentor. You can't remove the human out of that. You can't separate it and just look at them as a robot who's here to do like a tech. They're not a machine. You just can't. You have to factor in the people skills and like the personhood of the person, because it's part of your job to help them develop beyond their technical. What would you say to leaders who don't see the importance of developing the person themselves and not just their technical skills? Like, maybe this leader is thinking like, well, we're here to do software engineering, so I just need to develop you as an engineer. And why is it important for me to develop you as a person, or to find these like blockers that you may have that are, like more personal things, not non-technical, that I should help you unblock? Like, what would you say to leaders who think that that's should be relevant? Like, that's not part of...
Leaders like that, I don't think they're supposed to be leaders. The reason why I'm saying this, because a team or your staff are your biggest resource, not what you're coding and what you're paid. Because if this person drops dead, you must go to recruit again. And by the time you teach them, please, it takes a lot of resources to do that. So why don't you develop what you have? Before you choose somebody as a leader, find out if he's a people person. Because you're not a people person, you're not a leader. People in the industry today, I hear people saying, oh, these Gen Zs don't work. Imagine I work very well with the Gen Zs. Because they need you to understand them. And as the oldies, we have believed in things must be done systematically. These ones can do 20 things at a go. You give them a computer like this, they will bring out something and you'll be like, wow. Instead of appreciating them like that, we start fighting them. They're taking away our jobs. They have come to take my job. You start looking for small things to get them fired. So a good leader must be a people person, must have the push to develop people from within. I feel nice when I see somebody transforming. So a leader must be having the need from within, pushes him to see people develop. Not for him to gain, for them to gain and they fly. I think it's a calling from God. You must know that you're leading people like you. And if you don't like them, then you cannot lead them. You will start competing with them. You start feeling jealousy. A leader never feels jealousy because he's content with what he has, the knowledge he has and the position that he has. And he knows he can still be lifted up. So you don't compete with your staff. You're a young girl and I'm happy to see what you're doing. And I'm so happy that you want to develop people. You will thrive.
And it energizes you to develop people. And that's, it's interesting what you said, like a leader should be willing to like give and pour, and then that energizes you. Because some people think that the more they give, they're draining their energy. So they don't tend towards that. But one thing I've realized recently is one way to build your energy is by actually giving and doing for others, and creating actually builds up energy in you. And people don't think that way.
You know what the good book says? It's good to give. Better to give than to receive. And when you give, you don't know who is giving you from behind. You give the knowledge that you have. You will never lack any knowledge. You will never lack things. You will never lack where you knock doors. You give to somebody. There was this lady. She's my neighbor. The husband fell sick and he died out of cancer. I looked at her. She had 2 children who were candidates by then. I told her, my dear, your husband has gone. I'm very sorry about it. Come, we sit down. Because I knew she was going to mourn for long. She has 2 kids and she was not working. So I got her a place in our office where we have an office space, and I knew she can do good business. She's very good at it. Today, she has a big shop. And yesterday I asked her, do you think I'm a leader? I said, what are you talking about? Can I come and tell those people who you are? You are a mentor, actually. Don't feel bad when you're helping people. You should feel energized.
And it's actually natural. Like, I think there are studies on this, that when the more you give, the more it actually adds to you. Yeah, a lot of people don't see it that way. So I want to switch gears and talk a little bit more about your upbringing, your childhood. We've touched a little bit on, culture, things like that. So I want to understand, what aspects of your leadership skills do you feel that you were born with? What aspects do you feel were developed throughout your childhood? And what aspects did you learn through formal training?
Wow, that's very interesting. My father was a leader and he was my best friend. He would teach me many things. He would talk to me. I didn't know he was teaching me, but he would talk to me things. When you do this, you do this. I would see how he would handle his stuff. We used to have workers at home. And my personalities, he taught me personally. He would tell me this. When you're talking to people, you look at them at the nip of their eye and you speak. And I would tell him, no, that I can't, because I get scared. He says, okay, look at their heads on top. Because then you don't see what they're doing to you. You're speaking and you'll not feel. That helped me to cut off the nervousness. I started becoming confident. Then I could look at you at the eye and talk. And my mother was an iron fist woman. You would work. She never knew about education and anything. She made sure she brought you up like an African girl who can do everything, who can take care of people. Mm-hmm. So I think that molded me to not fear any work. I can do anything. I can sit in the CEO's office. I can come to the cleaning of I can serve people. I do everything. Mm-hmm. So that helped me, because some people think when you rise up, you neglect the small things. How do you teach them, the small people, how to do it? You can't go and tell somebody, I want this sink to be clean, without showing them how to do it clean.
Mm. So the work ethic that your mom instilled in you made you more confident. And that's actually interesting, because one way of building skills that we know in psychology is one way of building confidence is by building your skills. So you're saying your mom was training you and building skills in you from the time you were young, and that built your confidence. And then your dad was also refining you and refining your communication, how you speak to people, you look them in the eye, which helps the communication. It helps to build trust. So some of those skills you started developing in childhood.
My mom didn't do it because she knew what she was doing. She's building me. She knew she's bringing up a girl who must get married, must have children, and must know how to take care of her home. But my father, I think he thought I'll one day grow up and become somebody, because he was educated, and be able to face people. His training was intentional. My mom's training came by
from the culture, the African traditional culture.
Yeah. But it helped me. It has helped me a lot.
Yeah.
The leadership itself, how to lead people. You remember, I'm the last born in the family. I had nobody to lead. I was being led throughout. In an African culture, is when you're the last born, you don't speak. You are given instructions. So I didn't learn from the family that. I think I learned it along the way. And more so when I started work. When I started working, I used my mom's skills very much, because I can do anything. My boss would ask me, Jane, can you drive? Yes, I can drive. And I would drive. I'll take people somewhere and I will do this. I was like his personal assistant. That helped me to come to the service of being recognized that I can do something. And it made me so proud because there's somebody recognizing that I can do this, which I didn't get from home. From home, my brothers will say, that small girl. Even today, they would call me, what do you know? You're a small girl. And they don't know I'm a grown-up woman.
Yeah, I can totally relate. I think that like in African cultures, when you're the last born, you don't have as much of a voice. And that's like a thing that I think I've seen in a lot of families. And also I've gone through, I'm the last born too. And I actually think that's part of why I gravitate towards leadership, because I can have a voice. Like, I don't know. It's like almost not being able to have a voice and lead has made me have that like desire more.
No, you feel like you must prove to people that you can do it. And that's what has pushed you to that. So even me, when I found a window where I have to show my skills, I said, I'll have to show it. At least people appreciate it. Now you'll find yourself in your family. They're looking at you like, wow, she can do it. This small girl can do it. Yeah. So what I can say, my leadership skills came out of experience and what I went through in life.
One thing that I think is a big leadership trait is courage. Do you feel that you were born with courage? Do you think that that's a part of something you were born, or did you develop courage? Did you develop integrity?
Integrity, I learned through my dad. I was brought up in a Christian family. And I was taught most of the time that people should not be mistreated. But later I forgot about it. When I started my own business, I think my problems pushed me. I will talk about that. But I think leadership, you learn. And my father being a leader, he was a leader. He was a principal in a school. When he retired, he was a leader in the village. He was a leader in the church. So all those things you learn. You learn much from your parents, what they do and who they are, or whoever brings you up. So I don't think there's something you are born with. What I can say you're born with is the traits of entrepreneurship. Because if you're an entrepreneur, you will always pop up somewhere. You'll never be satisfied until you do your thing. And that's what pushed me to where I am.
What are the traits of entrepreneurship?
You're always wanting to do something, and wherever you are working, you cannot achieve what you want to achieve, probably because of the structure, because of the bureaucracy, or because of your bosses or whatever. And even if they are good, there's something in you that keeps on telling you, this can be done better. Or if I start my thing, not necessarily what I'm doing here, it can do better. And you find most entrepreneurship, they start so many things. Like I did, so many of them before you hit to the one that God wanted you to do. They don't give up. Entrepreneurs don't give up at any point. Okay. They will start this. If it doesn't work, they move to the other one. And they will still come back to this one when they realize it's me who did not do it right. They may go 3-4 businesses and come back to this one. And when they come back, they will stick to that one. It's something from within.
Okay. So the entrepreneurship thing is what you feel is natural, but the leadership skills you don't feel are natural.
No, you learn.
What about courage? You don't think courage is something that some people are born with, some people are not?
Courage,
or what do you think?
You're born with it.
You think so?
Because if you're an entrepreneur, you must have courage. Of starting one thing, it fails, and you go to another one. Not many people can do that. Most people fear even starting. When you start something, like what you're doing now, an entrepreneur will go all the way. You will burn your fingers and count losses and still start another one. That is courage. You don't fear. You know you can do it. You believe in yourself. Even if nobody believes in you, you know we can make it.
Yeah.
And pursue it yourself when everybody else has pulled back. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you say to the naysayers when they tell you like...
I don't give them a minute.
Yeah.
It might fail, but I don't want to be brought down by the naysayers. If you think it cannot work, you wait for me ahead there. You must be a go-getter. When you put your head that you're going to make this work, it will work. But if you're doubting yourself, it will fail.
Is that something you had to like learn to overcome, the naysayers and, you know, that people doubting you or making you feel like you can't accomplish something, especially being a woman in corporate. I mean, it's not that long ago that we really didn't even get into the workforce. So seeing women in leadership, seeing women as CEOs, entrepreneurs is hard to come by. So how did you, and you've probably, that can also be discouraging. So have you been able to overcome the naysayers, to overcome, being a woman in a space where not many women are in?
Don't worry, even in the corporate world, it starts from the house. You'll be fought in the same house by your spouse. But I'm a fighter. My spirit is a fighter, not necessarily, but I have a spirit of a fighter. I must get what I want. And especially when I believe in it, I will get it, regardless of what you think. I will achieve it. And I will tell you, wait and see. Yeah. When I started my business and I resigned from work, and I told my husband then that I wanted to start a restaurant. He's also a hotelier. And I thought he was going to give me support. There's this restaurant I've gotten. I want to start it. And it's asking me 2 million. He laughed and said, hey, where are you going to get 2 million from? You think now you've gotten some small money here, you'll make it in the restaurant. You'll fail. I told him, what did you say? I will not fail in Jesus' name. And I got so determined to start it, to prove to him that I cannot fail. He would tell me, do you know how much waiters are paid? Do you know how much cooks are paid? The chefs and everything, plus your rent of 2 million. Where would you get that money? Me, I'd already seen me getting money because I was banking somewhere, and there was those loans of entrepreneurship. SMEs, we call them that in Kenya, small business entrepreneurs. So I said, I'll go to the bank and I ask for 2 million. And they gave me. They believed in me that I can make it. I said, if a bank can believe in me, my own husband cannot believe in me. I took the money. I said, I've gotten the loan. I'm going to do it. He said, you will not make it. I said, I will make it. Wait and see. Where are you going to get the waiters? I told him I'll carry my girl, my house girl called Rose. I'll carry Rose. We'll go with her. We cook with her and we serve until we make it. Yeah. And I did that. I used to cook in the kitchen. I would be the cashier at lunchtime. I've cooked all the food. I know the food is supposed to be served. Like my house girl was working for me. I got her uniform. She was there. And I added her salary double. She was very happy. And we got other employees coming. They kept on coming. He was shocked. At one point, he worked for me. Yeah. So don't listen to naysayers. Yeah. No.
Use it as motivation, actually.
Yes.
And sometimes it's realizing that sometimes the naysayers, they just don't see your vision. And they don't, sometimes it's malicious, but sometimes it's also they don't see your vision. They can't understand what you're seeing. So you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to keep pushing and keep moving forward. And also, you've talked about, your attitude, like, towards failing. Like, sometimes you'll fail, and it's just, okay, well, that's fine. Yeah, take the lessons and you move on.
Exactly. How do you learn then if you don't fail? You'll fail. And accepting, that's me. I'm never bothered by my failures. I learn my lessons, and I move on.
Like, you may fail, so you give yourself the room to be human. You're just like, what, this is the goal that I set. I believe that I can get it. But even if you don't get it, it's okay. I'll move on. I'll take the lessons and move on. I think that empathetic people are able to be empathetic with themselves as well. So when they fail, they don't take it personally and think that, oh, this says that I just can't, and they become very defeated.
You don't allow that. Even when you start, I might fail, yes, as they are saying, but let it be an experience that I need to learn from. But I'm not going to fail. You don't fail until you're failed.
Yeah.
When you're failed, you say, oh, sorry.
Oops.
You just pat yourself and say, at least I tried. Yeah. Next time I will do here better. Next time I'll do that better. And you move on. You count your losses and move on. Entrepreneurs are go-getters. They don't give up. Because if you give up, the first one will knock you out. You don't give up. You keep hoping for the best, which they never see, but they know they will get.
So, and from those failures you learn. So I know you've done a few different entrepreneurship ventures.
A lot.
In all your business ventures, not only even the ones that failed or that you ended up closing down, you developed skills.
Oh, yes.
But you also developed your network. So all those failures they've still contributed to your businesses today.
Exactly. They have developed my business right now, what I'm doing. Everything I learned, the networks I got from those businesses, they're the ones pushing me on. Yeah. And to where I am.
Yeah. I know you have a child who has autism. Yes. So tell us a little bit about how that experience, being a parent of someone who has autism, has shaped you as a leader or as an entrepreneur.
A lot. Actually, to speak about my business, it was born because of him. I have a son who is autism, mild autism, but he's the sweetest boy that I've ever had. I love him. I thought about him. Schools, they will call him stupid. And he was talented in IT. He loved playing with computer. I think he would have been very smart in that, but he missed out on somebody to teach him. Because of that, everybody's looking down on him. We'll take him to special schools. He would get shocked. Why am I here, mommy? You want to bring me here? That question alone, I turned me off. So I had to take him to regular schools. But here in Kenya, we don't have regular schools who know there are those who are mild autism and how they can be treated. So he suffered through. So I thought, who is going to work with my son? He's now growing. When he was in Form 2, I started a business for catering, a restaurant. Then I took all my children one holiday, took all of them. One is a cashier, one is a waiter, one is a cleaner, one will peel the potatoes. And they worked. And he happened to be the one peeling the potatoes. After the term was over, I wanted them to understand what I'm doing for them. And then when they all left back to school, he went 1 week, he asked me, Mommy, can I come and work with you? I asked him why. I enjoy working with you. I said, come. I didn't care much because he was not getting anything. In school, I was just paying school fees and a lot of it for him to just go and feel like any other child. So I brought him over and I started training him. I realized he has communication skills very good because he would speak good English and he would convince people why they should eat at our place. He had those communication skills. He has sales skills. He would sell to people a lot and he would know his customers. He may not remember your name, but he remembers you by face. Tell you, hi, do you remember me? You are our customer. You came and ate in our restaurant. Wow. And they will come with that customer up to the restaurant. He was nervous at the first time to take orders. I talked to the customers because the customers were those daily customers who will come, most of them. And I talked to them. I told them, this is my son and he has autism. How do we help him? Because I can't lock him in the house. You must help me bring him up. And there were 3 wazirs, we used to call them 3 musketeers. They were very good friends of ours. They would eat their breakfast, lunch, and even 4 o'clock tea. They said, that is the boy you want to train. Bring him. He should serve us. Only him will serve us. So they taught him, go and bring me this. 1 order per person. He goes and brings, and sometimes he forgets on the way because he's nervous. He mastered the skills. He's doing it very well now. I'm now training him in the kitchen. He's an employee like any other. He goes to, and he's very hard working. He got married last year. So I'm so proud of him. And that now has made me feel very proud. During COVID, we closed the restaurants. And my friend, I realized, wow, this business was for Samuel. Where is he going to work? I had to think very fast and start tendering, getting tenders and everything. And he got his job back. So I feel now, even if my time comes to go, he has a place to be. He has work to do. He can feed his family. Yeah.
Do you think that some of the ways or the unique challenges you may have had with navigating, helping him thrive with his autism has informed how you lead other people?
So this helped me in my leadership because I learned to treat other people's just like mine. That helped me to know that there are people who may have not made it in school, but I must get something for them to do. In fact, there's a time I was only hiring those who did not pass to go anywhere, or those who passed but they didn't have anything to take them to high school. They passed class 8. They didn't have money to take them to. I would not ask for papers unless you're coming in as a supervisor. That's when I ask for your credentials. But these other ones, I tell them, I don't need your papers. I need to know your attitude. So you give me a week. I'll pay you for that week. I learn you. Then I will hire you.
So you think that made you like more open-minded to different people and people with diverse like levels of expertise, and also like taught you how to be able to the importance of like understanding someone to be able to really tailor the environment to help them thrive.
Exactly. That's why I said you must understand your people. There are people with issues. When I was telling you, you understand your people one by one. Learn them. Learn how they were brought up, what challenges they went through. This way you'll be able to develop them. That is what pushed me to that. Because I think if I didn't have this child, I will never know there are people who are needy. But it has taught me a lot on how to handle them and how to empathize with them without really making them feel they're special. My son, I don't treat him like a special person. In fact, I'm very rough on him. I tell him, you are the person who should behave best in this organization because you call me mommy. Yeah. And again, I don't employ relatives until last year. My policy was not to employ relatives for one reason. Relatives get in and they think, this is our business, so what can you tell me? They start feeling more special than others. And I want my employees to feel the same, on the same level, being my son, being my brother, being my niece, being my nephew, all the same.
So this experience has taught you how to balance, catering to people's diverse needs while still maintaining an environment that is equal between all the employees. There's this balance of like, okay, so you have different people, they have different needs, different backgrounds, but you still have to cater to them as individuals, but still without making it unfair or unequal and without engaging in any favoritism. So you would say that you're having your son and like has helped you do that?
You know how it helps? If I don't treat everybody equally and not favor anybody, my son will not be taught. They're in the kitchen with the staff. Who will teach him? If he feels more special, or if I make him feel more special. So when you understand your people, you understand this one has a need here. How do I make way for her to be mentored by others also? Because I cannot be the mentor throughout.
So your biggest concern with the favoritism is that it can harm the team's dynamic and the team's morale.
It spoils the environment. It spoils everything. Favorism is the worst. It's the worst virus in the business.
Yeah. And so how do you ensure that you're not engaging in favoritism, even when you do have closer relationships with some employees than others? Like sometimes it's your son, sometimes it's another employee. Like how do you check yourself so that you don't engage in favoritism?
When I realize that you're getting closer to me, then I ask myself, am I favoring you? Or, when you're favoring, somebody will come with request after request. You say, hey, excuse me, why are you asking this? Why you only? Don't you think others need? No, you can't do this. We must be equal.
Yeah. So you have to be able to take a step back and maintain the objectivity. Yes. Even when you have, closer relationships with your employees, you still have to periodically make sure that you're checking yourself and remaining objective when it comes to the business and the work things.
And it's not wrong to ask your employees, what am I doing wrong? Is there anything you think I'm doing wrong? They will say, please tell me, because I'm also like you. I'm just a human being. I could be stepping on your foot and I don't know. So shout. What is it? What can we improve? What can you tell me to improve in my leadership? If you think I have imposed this on you and it's not working, and I don't know.
So you also look to your the people that you lead to help you remain objective.
Yes.
And to help you maintain your leadership. If they feel that there's any favoritism, they can come and tell you so that you're checked.
Yes. And again, most leaders feel, no, I can't stoop that low. Please, that is important. Check yourself through your employees. They will tell you. And they will not lose respect for you. In fact, they will have more respect for you. And more love for you. Recently, I lost a brother. My employees were mourning for me. And when I came back, they requested for a meeting. They said, Madam, we had to come and say sorry. And what time are we having a meeting? 5. Because everybody has gone. They were all there. And I said, you guys, I missed you so much. You don't know how much I missed you. And I want to thank you for the job that you did for 1.5 months. And they did better than when I'm there. They never disturbed me. They said, please, nobody should call Madam now. Nobody. Whatever we need to do, we need to find a way to make business run. So I realized, I told them, even if I die today, you have a business to do. So take care of it or mess it up. It is important to have a good relationship and being friends with your employees from top to bottom.
Yeah. And it's also what you're saying about, being able to show your employees, you're being vulnerable, being able to be vulnerable with your employees, showing them that, hey, I need you to check me as a leader, number one. And also you show them your humanity, through your vulnerability, you show them that I'm not perfect and I'm also a human. So I can have things that happen in my life that I may need to be gone, and that they have your back. But they also respect you because you're not wearing this persona of, I know everything. I'm strong. Nothing ever happens to me. I'm always right. That actually helps them respect you more.
I love my people. Honestly speaking, if you come to my organization at the end of the month, I'm thinking, who has not paid? How am I going to pay my people? I am stressed at the end of the month. Because I don't care whether I've not been paid or not, but I must get a loan from the bank and pay my people. I don't tell them I've not been paid. They have worked through the month and worked faithfully. So I must deliver. But you know what managers say? Most organizations say, well, we have not been paid, so where do you expect us to get money? I will take a loan and pay them. They never know whether I've been paid or not.
That actually brings me to another thing that I've seen in good leaders is that they're willing to sacrifice themselves for their team, their people. Whether it's what you're saying in terms of making sure they get paid, even if you have to take a loan from the bank to make sure they get paid. But also when it comes to if the team fails, I've noticed that bad leaders don't want to sacrifice their reputation to protect the team. So they're more self-interested.
In leadership, you must be able to take responsibility, not for yourself, for your team. Don't think if you're failed as a team, you can shine as a leader. That's when you take responsibility and say, we are sorry, we did this wrong, and that's why we are in this position. But give us a chance. We have known, or we want to know where our mistake is, and then we correct it next time. But my team is doing well and is working hard to make sure that we achieve. That is a good leader. If you try to suppress your juniors to shine, you can never shine. Even your bosses know. Yeah, don't cheat yourself.
Yeah. And also as a leader, you understand that it's your job to coach and mentor your juniors. So if you are speaking negatively about what your juniors or blaming your juniors for the failures of the team in order to make yourself look good, because you want to separate yourself from, you blame the juniors and say they're the problem. I'm doing well as a leader. They're just the ones who are not understanding.
You cannot do well if your juniors are not doing well.
Exactly, because you're their coach.
Yes.
Your job is to coach them. So you can't detach that way. And also I've noticed that good leaders give credit the most to their team because they realize that their team is doing all the heavy lifting. So they're quick to give credit to their team when things go well, and they're quick to take responsibility when things go bad on the team.
Such leaders should be taken for coaching. They may be helped because they're also suffering. There's something that is missing in them as leaders. And their bosses should know this person, he's not a leader. Unless there's something going on. But if an organization really wants to bring out leaders and lead the organization to a certain vision, then they should take them for training.
Oh, so your approach is to coach first. Like if you see someone is failing, you coach first.
Yes. There's no firing. If you believe in firing, you will never hold anything. Don't be my type of leader years back. Anything you see that is not right, coach them first until you find they're adamant. Then you tell them, because you have this problem. We have tried to coach you. You have spent money in training you. We have taken you to these seminars. You've not learned. Now I don't think we will have to keep you in the team because you're suppressing others. You either step down, leave somebody under you until you learn. Or if you can't take that one, then you leave.
Yeah. Okay. So there is a point where it would be like, it's better for us to go our separate ways, and you would still support them in finding something else, but it's just like not a good fit for the organization. But your first approach is going to be always to coach, and you would even consider like moving them to different roles that they may be better at. Because that's one thing that I see in leadership. Some of these leaders, because they're so highly technical, I think they could make good technical leads as individual contributors, but because they don't have the people management skills, they shouldn't necessarily be managing people. And that's until they're coached and they learn those skills.
Even the term people management, you must have that to manage people. Yes, and you must learn it. If you don't have it, you must learn it, and you must be willing to learn. What is your attitude towards learning? Do you when somebody doesn't realize he has a problem, even if you thought, I don't have a problem, they must accept that they have that problem. Then they can be able to learn.
Yeah. And leaders especially have to be constantly able to learn.
Because you're dealing with different types of people every day. The team may grow and you get newer people. You must learn how to deal with them. Learning and teaching leaders is constant. And reading more of leadership skills. And marking for yourself. You have a marking scheme. This one, I think I've not achieved. Have I? Ask somebody from outside. A friend will tell you honestly. Then you concentrate on that. You learn. People skills I don't have.
You have to be a lifelong learner. Yes. Lifelong learner, forever student. The difference between leadership and management, or leaders and managers. Managers solve problems that are known, so they just kind of execute. And leaders are dealing with uncertainties all the time. So if you're dealing with uncertainties all the time, you have to have a growth mindset. You have to have a constant learning, a willingness to learn mindset.
Yes.
You don't master. Yeah.
You don't reach a point of you are finished, no? Yeah. It's continuous.
And when you're dealing with people, you can't master. You know?
Can't, because people have different problems. And others are coming differently. So you must know how to deal with each one of them. A manager, he's the person who, like now, let me say, for example, in your tech industry, the manager is the one who knows how this moves from here to here. That is a manager of what you're supposed to do. But a leader leads people, not the tech itself. Leads people. While the manager manages for you to get to the goal, the leader leads people to make sure that they are sober, they are doing the right thing that they are being told by the manager, they are doing their own things according to their knowledge. There's input. Somebody's bringing this, somebody's bringing the other, and then you're pushing on forward. It's just like strength. If you are holding this table and you get weak, your side will go down. So somebody who is here should lift it up. And all of us try to lift this side up. As the leader is finding out what is your problem. Have you had an injury on your leg or something? Or you can be moved out to be mentored by the leader as we continue pushing the table forward to wherever we are going. So managers, they are cut off to some degree. But leaders are different. Leading people must understand the people, must understand the complex of people's problems.
That aspect of like leadership, dealing with unknowns, that's where it's hard for people to make the switch. They think of leadership as just management, and they don't realize that you're dealing with unknowns. So that means you have to learn different skill sets. You have to be adaptable. You have to be able to learn individuals. Like even in technology, I feel like every engineer should start developing their leadership skills from their onset of their career at the very earliest, because now we're dealing with AI and we're dealing with technical problems that we haven't seen before. So I think it's important even for leaders in their junior positions to start developing their leadership skills.
I think that should be taught in college. As they're developing those engineers, that should be one of the subjects in college to be taught. And in every area, by the way, it's not only in tech, in every area. So that when they go, they have that understanding. Oh, we were told this is not how to deal with people. People skills is a subject that you can talk until the cows come home.
Wow. Well, this is very insightful. I think that we've learned a lot from all your insight. So I hope that this episode will be good for everybody and people will learn about leadership, entrepreneurship, and will be able to be inspired by you because you're very inspiring. So let people know where they can find you, where they can find your catering business. How can people reach you?
My name is Jane Nyanchama Onchiri. We have a catering company and a supplies company. You can find us at Kenyan Towers, parking 2. That's where we have our kitchen. That's where we have an office.
Yeah, so we'll put all the information on the screen and the description box so people can reach out to you too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been nice.
Yes, this has been great.
I hope this helps someone somewhere.
Yes, it will. You have so much insight. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you for interviewing me.
You're welcome.
Okay.